Enough this morning, Ron. Probably got that out of my system. It might have been when I didn't go to sleep last night, just making sure everything was just right. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And let's figure out where I'm going to start here. I want to thank my team that's standing out here. They're all here. Job of making me look good and making us look good, and we want to give good leadership and good examples, but at the end of the day they've got to make this place work. I'd like to thank everyone that is here on behalf of the different agencies that came today, the chambers, the governor's office. Very, very appreciated that you took the time to come to this event, and I appreciate the help that we get to support your community functions, and I appreciate what you do to do the legwork. We don't always get there to help with the hands and feet, but we try to help wherever else we can, and we really appreciate that. The governor's office being here, that's a nice treat, because when we started this project, I'm going to get back to this. This is way too important. I got to leave this for the end. But when we got started on this project, my mom and dad, I'm not going past them here, but my mom's always paying attention, and she is giving me little notes. And she's just always seeing what's going on. And it's awesome to have that mother that's always there. But I promise myself. But she gave me a note, and it was out of the Sioux Falls Business Journal. And it was just a little story she clipped out about a couple of companies that had used the governor's office and their assistance in doing a building project. And that was about the time we were starting to get going on this. We had a fire in 2012 that we contained to a small area, but it was a bit of a disaster. It was ugly. I wasn't proud of it. We're a certified auto recycler. I'm the leader and the chairman for the certified auto recycler for the country, for our trade association. It's not the kind of example we set. Well, there again, Mom was there. She wrote a note. She said, make lemonade out of it. And so we started promoting more safety and telling what we did wrong so we could help other people not do it again. So we're having this fire, and we're getting ready to get started. And I'm starting to make plans. My dad, who inspired everything around here, if you cut him, there's going to be little ends that are going to run out of him because it's the passion of what he started. But when he, I lost it there for a second. But when I first came up with this idea, I said, you know what? We had this fire. Let's pause. Let's stop. If you look across the way, you'll see our old offices. And I was talking to Merlin Clevering. I'm going to get to those guys too, but you see all the different roof lines on them buildings. And you look and you see the front of this building over one of the old original machine sheds that's back behind it. And we just kept building as we could. That's the way we did it. From that dairy barn to this building, it's been a nonstop transition. It's been a constant and never-ending transition. And when I started looking at it, I said, you know what? If I'm the next step on this deal, which at that point it's pretty well established that I was, I said, Tammy and I need to make this official. We need to finish this transition. And they were so kind, and this is what you don't see happen a lot, is they were so kind to step aside and say, you know what? We want to be all in, and we want to be part of this, but let's let you see what you can do with your next generation. So things weren't stifled. And so when I showed my dad the plans, after what he's used to doing, he's like, you're crazy. Not only that, he started drawing alternate plans. I kept copies that are quite cute on how we could add a little bit to the backside over there, and we could cut out a hole over here. We could make the new break room off the back. Those two trees that are cut down back behind there, that's where the old break room was actually going to go before the fire. And so, as we're doing this planning, my mom sends me this note, and it was from the Business Journal. It talked about them using the governor's office, so we contacted, and I'm getting back on track, development, and my brain quit from the governor's office. Alex Smith. Not Alex Smith, that's the quarterback. The same name, that's right. But Alex, they came out, and I talked to them about what I wanted to do, and what we were thinking about doing, and they were intrigued. And I was like, well, thank you for coming out. Handshake, smiles. Didn't know what was going to come of this. Banking with Midwest Bank. Had been talking with current president at the time, Evan Ingebretson, who's been with our family for years, and talking about different ways we could pull this off. And about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, I think it was. Hey, this is Alex from the governor's office. We'd like to help you with the road for that building and that project. And I'm like, that is awesome. I wasn't going to build the road first. That's what got through my head. And so, I don't want to get into too long of storytelling, but that's the example, though, that happens. And so we ended up having to reverse the card a little bit, and we ended up building the road first. But that was an infrastructure improvement project that was based on what was to come. And in the end, I don't know that there'd be a paved road if I wouldn't have done it in that order. So, once again, when we pray and we think, doors open, doors closed. And that's so much of our life. It drives my managers crazy. My managers are out in this group too, and it drives them nuts sometimes. Because they say, so what's the plan? Trust me, it's going to work out. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But I want to thank them for that piece of it, because that was a huge piece of it. So we went basically 50-50 on the road. But we had to put the sweat equity in and the dollars up front to get it started. And they made sure I was pouring foundations before they turned over that check. And so they do their due diligence too, because I say, I really need that. We got a down payment to make. I'm getting too deep into the weeds on that, but that was a good example of how the way this whole process went. And as we got into it, I was dealing with Uncle Merlin. Where's Merlin and Carol at? Benji, can you run in my office and get right behind my desk? There's a framed picture. I forgot to bring it out here. Merlin and Carol, come on up here. And Derek Sandble, come on up here. I know I'm keeping you guys a long time here, but this is I only get one chance to do this. You're going to have to put up with it. Benji's grabbing something out of my office. But I was dealing with Uncle Merlin, and they've got a wonderful business. They've started out of Laverne. It started off just like my mom and dad as farmers and working hard. Carol works at the hospital, and they started their business just the same way, from one piece at a time. And they had built wonderful farm buildings across southwest Minnesota, great houses, fellowship halls, and we're talking at one of the holidays, and I said, do you think you could build this thing I'm thinking about? And they'd already we decided they've touched every building around here at some point. And so in 2013, I think we started our first official drawings of this building with Merlin. And we started turning that over to the team, and they started tearing it apart. I started tearing it apart. A lot of input I got fellow recyclers here. We got guys from Edgerton, Wisconsin, from Morrison's. We got Pat's Auto Salvage here. We got Paul Sharp from Don Sharp Automotive. I don't know who else. I see Wade from Lincoln Auto and Huron. Probably some other faces around here. These are all people that we communicate with that are mentors. In our industry, we all share ideas. We all steal from each other. It's just the way we do it. They're leaving here with a pile of notes, and I left their place with a pile of notes 10 years ago. And you talk to those folks, and they're all mentors, and you're all trying to figure out the best ideas. We got 20 years of doing that. And so that's all packed into this facility. And I'm trying to tell these guys how we wanted to make it happen. And they now get it because they've worked on it enough. So throughout this process, Merlin said, you know what? My son-in-law Derek's going to be in charge of this project. We're starting our transition here with the company, and Derek's going to be taking over with some of the other members of their team. But I tell you what, I have got an amazing building. And so I want to give these guys, just call them out working. So I want to give this to you guys. This was not built to plans. This was a built to suit from a set of plans we started with. These guys probably are driving me crazy. They don't want any more texts or emails from me to get to the end of this process. And we're just about there. We still got to work on the handrail in there yet, but these guys have been great. I just want to thank them because I'm going to tie in one thing. I'll turn it over to you for that. There's sheets up here that have by DJ Harrington, my good friend from Woodstock, Georgia. DJ's a nationally certified speaker that goes all over the country. He's he's one of my mentors, truly. He has taught me more than he ever knows. After we battled out to buy a 57 Chevy sign I wanted to give my dad at a charity auction in Minneapolis 25 years ago.
And we got it.
Thank you, Art.
He said, "Who's that little shit that's trying to buy that sign?" But we've been friends ever since, and we're glad he came up here. But we've got sheets, and on those sheets you can walk around. We're going to thank everybody. On the back of that sheet, there's names and cities of everybody that I could think of that helped on this project. If I went on from this time and I didn't stop here and say thank you to the veterans, the Purple Heart group for coming out, this is just amazing to us. For us, I'll take my hat off on this because I have given nothing compared to what people have given. And so for this, it's a big deal. Sleep all the time, but I've never been shot at. I've never had anybody chase me. I can't imagine the sacrifices that are made for us to have the freedoms and the opportunities we do. This is such a neat thing for our company, and I really appreciate it. My mom and dad and my wife. My wife right now should get a Medal of Honor. I hate to even use that as any sort of a transition from what I was just talking about, but she has been putting up with a rather crazy Shannon the last, probably worse than the last year and the last few years, trying to keep everything afloat and keep it all working and get to the finish line. It's like any parade, somebody's got to get out front and lead it, and I just want to make sure that I set a good example for my team and a good example for everybody else that's involved in our family as we grow up. I think as we transition, we want to make sure we're going to be here for the next 50 years. That's why I talk about the next generation. The first generation was awesome. My mom and dad started from nothing. And some people don't even realize that. They just assume if they check into a story from the middle, you don't see the beginning. And they literally started from nothing. Being able to add opportunity, but they absolutely made the most out of it. And that opportunity was thrust upon them, not upon their choosing. When Grandpa died and they got out to the farm here, they didn't know what was next. They were working jobs at the dairy at Terrace Park, and Mom was working as punch key down at Morel's. And all of a sudden, there was a void in the family with Walt Nordstrom gone, and I think that's just kind of transitioned, like, you know what, all of a sudden we're going to be farmers. And as that transition took place, they worked their butts off. From what I hear, they partied their butts off. From what I hear, there was a neighbor lady group that my mom later joined that would pray for them, that said if they could ever be as good as they are bad, they're going to be something special. And thank you to Grandma Leona. Rest in peace. She brought my mom to a Christian women's event with Gretchen Idema, the golfer, and my mom gave her life to the Lord shortly thereafter. Changed a lot. They started realizing that it's not all about them, it's about everybody else too. And so that's what we got brought up with. And my dad came next. It's a little more convincing. Well, hey, we're not saints. We're not saints. Everybody's got pictures around here from my neighborhood. No, we're not saints. I'm looking at Terry Johnson. I'm just laughing looking at him.
I've seen one of those pictures.
This reminds me of Pictionary.
Let's not go there.
But what we learned with that new mindset was that if we worked hard and if we, at the end of the day, gave thanks to where things are supposed to go, and we respected people the way they deserve to be respected regardless of race, creed, what they looked like, what they wore, who they were, what name they had. We just made sure that they got taken care of. Things would be all right. My mom put so much positive reinforcement in me that my friends would joke with me when I was young. They would say, "My gosh, what's wrong with you guys?" Because we just feel like we can run through walls. It's because of that. We were on the move all the time, and it was go, 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 and we had to be ready. And they made us ready, and they made us so confident that we weren't going to fail, and that because of our faith, that we knew there was a bigger picture, regardless of a small failure. The bigger outcome was going to be, the greater good was greater than that moment. Doesn't mean we don't get stressed out. These guys around me know I get stressed out, but just there was a calm about that. There's a peace you can put in your life about that, and that is something that I will never, ever be able to say enough thank yous for them to make that choice. They gave me the household to grow up in that fashion. They gave me the confidence and the strength to do what we do today. So Mom and Dad, thank you. I love you guys. My son's playing that game where he said he couldn't get out of college class. I think he's probably skipped one before, and I think there's a home football game tomorrow. Maybe that's got something to do with it. But my son's out here. My daughters were going to come out here summer. They didn't make it out. Okay. They protested again. All right. So no, they had tests. I thought I heard protests. But I just we got a great deal going here. I want to keep it going, and I can't do it without my team. I can't do it without the customers. Tomorrow we've got a public open house. It's going to be a madhouse around here. We're letting everybody out. We want to show them how a professional auto recycler does business. I want them to take that tour. We're going to have a tour right after this event. Ron Luke's got food ready right after this event. For those of you who are here, we've got special hats that commemorate the 2.0 Next Generation. We've got T-shirts. Feel free to grab one. And it's a great day, and I'm glad you're here. Did I miss anything?
She said Shannon.
Tammy Nordstrom. I recognized her before I said she gets the Medal of Honor. She really makes me look good.
Some people talk about their awful daughter-in-laws. Oh, God. Wonderful. I want you all to know that.
And I got one last piece here as I look across the crowd. Jerry, come here. Okay. Truth be known, we're a bunch of carnies. We love to promote. We love to have fun. We get more fun of hanging signs and having a party probably than we do sometimes running business, and that also drives my managers nuts. When this guy came into the picture, it was another God thing. He put structure into our business as our CFO now. He's going to be retiring real soon here. He's got 20 years put in here after a second career.
Put up with us for
And
20 years.
I'm sure there's times he'd like to throw us out the window, but this guy, I won't let anybody hang anything on the walls unless I approve it now, because I'm just that way right now. I don't want any holes in the sheetrock. But he had a sign by his old desk that said, "This is the only gray area you'll find on Jerry's desk." And it was a piece of gray felt that was framed. But we need that. You know, you need the things you can't do. And within my team, I have tools of things that I can't do. And Jerry brought something we needed badly. Because I think my mom would have probably been to the 5th floor by now if it wouldn't have been for somebody to take over. Because when the numbers started getting bigger, she just couldn't do it anymore. It was like, "Ah!"
I wasn't trained.
She wasn't programmed for that. But Jerry, when he came into the business, it was a huge step for us. And I want to recognize him because I don't know if we'll have a formal retirement party with all the craziness, but as DJ taught us, can I? Thank you. Yes, it's Walt Plaza. Mark, thank you. Employees, is there anything I need to cover? All right.
Shannon,
Yes.
I think I want to say it, just not, I can't top what you did. Evan Ingerbritsen sitting right there. that guy helped us get going on this whole thing to the next steps as we went. Evan, would you stand up a minute? He started Midwest Bank here in Sioux Falls.
He's wearing the other team's shirt right now.
He's got another shirt on. But you know, I think back of it, I can't believe how young he was when we were with the Production Credit Association, sat down across from him to start what we were doing out here, and it was a farming loan, which pretty soon the farming loan, I got started with the cars through that farming loan. The cars got bigger than the farming loan, and then along the line with different guys that kind of told us to leave.
Egg money.
Egg money. It was egg money. But he come up with ideas. He knew our business, and that was so important to have somebody when you're in a banking business like that. He come up with ideas. Why don't you save $50 on everything you sell here? Put that in. Pretty soon we have $35,000. $35,000. What are we gonna do with that? We can build a building. Part of a building. Part of a building.
You got the question, how the hell are you gonna pay for it?
That's right.
I came in and said we were gonna build a new house. It's the house that's up here. And he looked at me and said, how the hell are you gonna pay for that?
But we were milking cows, so another assignment on milk check.
Well, we better.
Yeah. So thank you, Evan.
I think I'm done. That was way longer than it probably should
That
have
was
been.
awesome. Obviously, I think it's clear that two of the major ingredients to Nordstrom's success is passion and faith. I'm going to introduce, this is Brandon Lane. He's the membership manager out with me at the Brandon Valley Area Chamber of Commerce and a former employee of Nordstrom.
That's right.
So we're honored to present you with a plaque. They've been members of ours since 2011. And I think we're ready to get that ribbon and give her a cut.
All right, before I do this, my good friend DJ Harrington, if you walk in the building, you're going to see on the one stairwell the big letters C-A-N-I. On the other stairwells, you're going to see PTLA. I've told you what that means. The Canai, or Canny, however you want, we'll argue about it. Canai stands for constant and never-ending improvement. And that is what we subscribe to. He's the one that taught me that, and so that's why he's here. And so the constant and never-ending improvement, it doesn't stop today. It just starts today, and we're excited about the future. So I don't know what we're supposed to do here. I think we should yell Kanai and then cut this thing.
Yes. All together on a count of 3. Kanai!
Kanai! 1, 2, 3. Kanai! Yay!